Hey, what's up? Happy Monday. Andrea here, welcoming you to another fabulous week. This will be our first full week of December. So I'm curious, how did you get through the weekend? Mercury is now retrograde, and what else? We had the full moon, the last super moon of 2017. So I'm curious. Let's see, I'm just checking to see if anybody's on yet. This has been a very intense period for me because we have this new book coming. Oh, there it is. Time to Rise. And I'm super excited about it because it really is just bringing together everything that I am really passionate about. And that is helping you tap into more of your potential for greatness, tapping into more of your potential to overcome challenges and rise up and really express more of what you believe you have inside of you. And maybe even a little bit of what you don't even believe is inside of you. So if you know anyone who has really had a challenging 2017 and they might be falling a little bit low into that depression realm, especially when it's the holidays and we've got to deal with family, or we're alone and feeling a little isolated and lonely, or it's just not feeling like you actually accomplished much. So if you know anyone like that who needs a little dose of kick in the pants, please share this video with them so that we can hopefully sprinkle a little bit of love. And sometimes it needs to be a little bit of tough love. I know, you're probably surprised that I could do tough love, right? I'm so loving, well, every now and then, you got to keep it real. And I am not afraid to do just that. What's up, Robin? What's up, Margareta? I am using a different platform today for this Facebook Live, which means I can't exactly see who's on for some reason. I can see that there are 5 people on. Ooh, I shouldn't have clicked that button. Platform today for this Facebook Live, which means now I can't exactly see who's on for some reason. Hilarious. Okay, so, wow, all right. This is how we roll today. I am using something called Ecamm Live, which I've been kind of following the progress. I use Ecamm when I record my show, Liberate Your Authentic Self, on the America Out Loud platform. And you've seen the videos here on Facebook and on YouTube. I use Ecamm to record from Skype and then distribute it around the world. And it works really well. Well, they recently came out with their beta version of the live platform, which allows us to broadcast into Facebook or YouTube live with all kinds of extra bells and whistles. And those bells and whistles include, supposedly, being able to invite people on, although I haven't been able to do that part just yet, and also being able to have little graphic overlays. And some of my people just saw a little sneak preview of a video for this book, Time to Rise. I keep going in the wrong direction. Time to Rise. And so that's what's up. So yes, here we are. It is Monday. It's been intense. And so Trevor says, kick in the pants is a good thing. Sometimes it is. I'll be honest. Sometimes it's justifiable if you're dealing with a health challenge or you've got something going on that really, knocks the wind out of you. I do not discount that as a possibility, okay? I really don't. I recognize we all got stuff. I'm a mom, so that's stuff, right? So we all have a lot of stuff going on, but there comes a point if you are falling, and you're falling into victim mentality or scarcity mentality, and you're not able to either pull yourself up or you're not able to connect to someone who can pull you up. If you fall too far and you don't tap into the resources within you, or you're just depleted, some of us need a kick in the pants. The only reason I say that is because I do well with challenges. So I've told people about what happened to me, in various points in my life when someone said I couldn't do something or whatever. Challenge me, dare me, and I'm going to rise to the occasion. So you hear me, Shimona, you know what's up. So I don't want to be preachy But at the same time, I do want you to know that I care about you and I want you well. And it's interesting because I've had a few, I'm not going to call them haters, but there have been some people who have said some stuff. And everybody's entitled, in America, we are a free country. You're supposed to be able to say what you want to say. But it's interesting because if you just look at me now, I do smile a lot. I am incredibly happy. I am incredibly upbeat. I had my own spiritual epiphany and awakening, and I really feel great about life. And there's still things that happen. Some of y'all know the drama that's going on anyway. But I try to keep it positive and stay on the up, because when you've been in the depths of depression and anxiety like I was, that's not a place I ever want to visit for more than a hot second. It's scary for me, to be honest. So, I think there are probably two ways to look at my situation. Well, okay, there are probably infinite numbers of ways to look at my situation, but there are two very controversial ones. Now, someone could look at me and say, oh, well, look at you. You came from parents who were educated, a middle-class family. You have an education. You're bright, you're perky. You seem to have it all figured out and all put together. And of course, people will say, well, you're trained as a doctor and you do all of these things. So surely you've got the answers, you've got this stuff completely figured out. And oh, well, it's really easy for you, Andrea, with all of these advantages. But you could also say, Andrea, you did have like a spiritual awakening where you popped over to the other side with God. And science has actually proven that people who have mystical experiences literally have changes in the brain. So, yeah, I can totally understand how you could feel better and how the depression was lifted for you. But then they say, but me, I'm sitting here feeling like crap, feeling like unmotivated, feeling like, even if I wanted to change my life, it's too hard. It's insurmountable. And I don't even know where to begin. I feel like going down this long road, I'm all alone, don't have money, don't have resources. Have you heard anybody with some of these excuses? And it's quite possible that all of that is actually true. But here's what I know. I know that we, as human beings, have infinite potential to transform, to grow, and to thrive. And we can bounce back from some of the most harrowing of life experiences. And so if my experience doesn't inspire you, then I invite you to check out some of these other amazing people who've also found a way to rise up. And so it is your time to rise. It means that you're going to have to dig deep, and you've got to find out what is within you naturally. So I'm not talking about becoming anything fake. This is not fake it till you make it. Now, yes, you may borrow some traits from other people, and you're going to have to dig deep and find out who you really are at your core. What are your strengths, your interests, your talents, your passions, and what are you naturally good at? And most importantly, what is it that you want your life to be about? Now, if you were able to say, what do I want people to say about me? I mean, not that we really care too much about what people say, but just try this on. If you were on your deathbed, would you be able to look back over your life and say, yes, job well done? So what kind of life did you live? Were you the kind of person who was generous? What kind of person were you? What did you stand for? Because if you start there, if you start with the end in mind and you think, okay, what do I want my life to stand for? What do I really care about? How do I want to make a difference in this world? And start there. Then you can say, all right, what are the talents, the abilities that I have to actually make that vision a reality? What do I really enjoy doing? What puts me into that state of flow that would allow me to actually feel good when I'm working towards a goal that is bigger than me? And yes, along the way, you're going to have to work on yourself and your own situation. And that can look a little self-serving, but getting yourself in order, getting out of a rut of negativity so that you can apply your life to something bigger, yeah, in the beginning, it's going to be pretty self-oriented, at least to the point that you can get your little butt out of bed and start doing something with your days and not just dreading your days. Does this make sense to anyone, or am I just talking smack? I know I've just been running my mouth, so let me see what kind of comments y'all have over here. So Shimoni says, amen. And we're able to do self-healing and love and awake if one is ready. Yes, so we have to be ready. What's up, Karan? Good to see you here. And what your heritage is doesn't mean anything if you're not happy or connected to yourself. You're so right, Margareta, because, you know, you've heard my story a number of times, and that's literally how it felt for me. It didn't matter what people judged on the outside, because on the inside, I was the one challenged and dealing with the depression on a day-to-day basis. And yeah, so you know what I'm talking about. Thank you for all the hearts. Loving it, loving it. So again, if y'all ever find at some point this freezes, because, you know, the internet up in this heezy is always a little shaky. But anyway, so I'm, you know, again, the reason this is all very important to me is because a lot of people are saying, gosh, Andrea, you just got some sort of special sauce that makes you upbeat and positive. And I will admit, I do have some special sauce. Yeah. Yep. I have siddhis, also known as superpowers. So for any of my people who've studied yoga in the Hindu world or anything else, you know, practicing meditation will enhance your superpowers, whatever yours are. I happen to be a visual person. I get visions. I get downloads. When I connect to source and really feel like I'm tapping into that divine flow, that's when I get answers about what am I really here to do? Because you get to a point where you realize you could probably do many, many things, but at some point when you're ready to live your purpose or your dharma, as we call it, then I have personally said, I want to just make sure I'm living that purpose so that on my deathbed, yes, I want to be able to look back and not have any regrets. And that means that kick in the pants, I have to provide that to myself. If I don't have a mentor or a coach or someone around me forcing me, then I have to do that for myself. Now, I have a daughter who's quite the little kick in the pants. I ain't gonna lie. She can be a kick in mommy's pants, for real. You know, she's always got her opinions, and, you know, she's not afraid to voice them. But I had to tap into what was true and real for me in order to be able to motivate myself, and including like exercise. So yeah, exercise is something that our bodies need, but it doesn't mean you got to go to a gym. You know, you could at least do some walking. You could do some gentle stretching, or whatever it is that you know your body needs, you need to just do it. So what happens when you don't feel like doing it? Well, what happens when doubt or fear or insecurity or excuses or sloth and torpor sink in? Well, what you need to understand is that those qualities are not qualities of your real self. Those qualities are not qualities of your soul or your spirit. Those are qualities of body consciousness. That is, living in a human body means that you're in touch with certain possibilities. We all have them. There is the possibility of becoming lazy. There is the possibility of becoming a victim and taking on that victim mentality or that scarcity mentality. And this whole mentality that you're weak or that you're limited, yeah, there is that possibility that as a human being, you can adopt that belief system. But guess what? If you have allowed those beliefs to linger for a while, they can become their own sort of entity. They can become their own life form. So that laziness, that sense of victimhood, that sense of scarcity, that sense of, oh, the whole world is against me, that sense of weak and not enough, all of those thought forms can literally become an entity unto themselves. They have their own language. They have their own energy, which actually affects your body and the way that you carry yourself. And they even can affect the energy that you give off, your vibe. So we have to understand that when these thought forms have lived long enough and they've taken on a life of their own, it's definitely going to take some effort to, kick them out of your consciousness. Now, they might need to be removed forcibly, right, out of your consciousness, meaning that we've got to give them an eviction notice, where they might actually need to be exorcised if that's how they're showing up in your life, like as a demon. Now, I don't know, does this sound silly to you? Or does it sound kind of weird and metaphysical? Well, it's just the nature of what it is to live on planet Earth. Things can and do take on a life of their own. But as soon as you're ready to reclaim your authority as the co-creator of your life on Earth, as the authority of your own heroic life story, then this is a perspective that I'd like for you to at least investigate. Just investigate. And then I ask, are there moments when you literally feel like you don't want to do what you know you need to, where you feel like you're weak, like you're lame, or maybe that you're stupid or lazy? I want you to investigate. Has that feeling, has that attitude, that belief, or that thought form become an entity unto itself, such that you almost feel like you can't control yourself, like you cannot overcome some sort of inertia? And if so, it's time to kick it out. It's time to take back control over your life, kick those things to the curb. And then as you do that, as you either, you can write a letter or you can speak words to forcibly kick these things out, but you cannot leave a vacuum. You can, if you leave that space empty long enough, something else is going to fill it. You either need to be filling it with something positive or something else is going to jump in there. That something else that I would suggest you fill it has got to be your authentic spirit. It's the power that your authenticity brings when you're aligned with your truth. And that means going back and look at that blog post I shared some time ago about these positive paradigm statements, your personal success mantra, so that you're replacing it with things that are aligned with your truth. So ask, who are you? I am a person who can take control of her health and her well-being. I am a person who can design a life and live that life to the fullest. I'm more than a conqueror. I am strong. These types of I am statements, these are paradigms of possibility, or your personal success mantra. These are what you've got to bring to the fore. They've got to be at the forefront of your consciousness to kick those lower life forms out. They cannot hang around if the strength and the power of the real you, your authentic self, your spiritual self, your sovereign self, if you are at the helm, then they have to go. They have got to follow your rules. And that means that you've got to set your own standards. So, you say, I am a woman who gets up and exercises. I move my body. I fuel my body with good stuff so that I feel good and I live my life purpose. Now, you're not doing this for any sort of selfish or egoic reasons alone. You're doing this so that you can raise up your life and your vibration so that you can live your purpose, some purpose that's actually beyond the ego. And when you're able to bring that really to the forefront of your consciousness, as well as to say, look, I do want my life to be about something. And if my life is going to be about something, then that means I have to cherish this life. That means I need to nurture my soul. That means I need to give voice to my spirit and quiet down the naysayers and the stank talkers and kick them the F out. And that's what this tribe, that's what this community is all about. That's what all of my books and programs are about. That's what this movement is about. It's about recognizing that there are certain aspects of the human existence that we haven't fully learned or mastered. But it is time for us to recognize that the multiple life forms that are around us need to be in dominion to us. We need to be dominating or governing them. So I ask, who are you? What do you stand for? What is your life purpose? When you think about it, what is really possible for you? What will you tolerate? What will you not tolerate? Now, these are the essential questions. Because when these other lower life forces tend to rear their ugly head and try to pull you back into bed, that's when you say, no, not here. I am the master of my life. I am the architect of my life. I am nurturing my soul, my body, my mind, and my heart with the guidance of my spirit. And this higher power, this source, that this is what my life is about, to be bigger than just me. Because I can tell you, I'm not exempt. There are plenty of times when I got all sorts of little chatter in my head. Now, I've mainly kicked most of those nasty little voices out, and they have been replaced by these paradigms of truth. But guess what? Every now and then, yeah, I have a little voice saying, oh, come on now, you can take a break. You don't need to keep doing all that right now. Look at all that you've done. Look at all that you've given. We all hear that little voice sometimes. But if I let any lazy voices win out, if I even give them the opportunity to be heard and heeded, then that gives them the opportunity to grow. So you've got to starve them, kick them out, evict them, whatever it takes, such that your spirit, your soul, is in control and is at the fore. So what people don't realize is that even if you've gotten some inspiration by watching a video or attending a conference, reading a really great book, at the end of the day, it's up to you to put that inspiration into action. Nobody can do that for you. I cannot come into your house and force you to get up and meditate. Can't do it. I can't force you to go out and exercise or do some yoga or to do some deep breathing or to write that business plan or to send that note of forgiveness, to your ex. I can't come and force you to do that. I can support you with love and energy and my time and my inspiration. But there's got to be that moment where you dig deep and you say, my life is worth it. Or at least I'm going to practice and try it. And it might even be just an experiment at this point, if you're not even sure that it's going to work, if you're not sure you're going to believe all of this stuff, then I'm at least inviting you to join this community of people who will be there with you, who will support you, who will encourage you, and who will hold you accountable. Because we can't do the work for you, but we can support you with love and energy so that as you practice, so that as you get more experienced living as your authentic self and growing and becoming stronger, and yes, a little more bold and certainly more productive as you overcome those demons of conformity and doubt and negativity and just utterly that desire to give up. You get stronger. And maybe you didn't have a family who supported you. I know how that goes, but now you do. So I believe that you're worth it. I want you to take that stance. I want you to take that chance of being with this soul-conscious, heart-centered group of change makers who will support you in expressing the highest vision of yourself. So that's all I wanted to just kind of share today on this crazy Monday. And I would love it if, those of you who have been inspired to get a copy of the book, Time to Rise. I keep doing it on the wrong side. It's over there. Please get a copy of the book. It's on sale, pre-orders. It's coming out December 12th. I think you're going to be so inspired by this group of change makers. I'm going to be interviewing them on my show and bringing the videos to you. We're going to have an author meet and greet virtually or in person if you can attend in January. There's all sorts of free gifts with the purchase of the book because I just want to support you. So I've got some meditations. I've got my top 10 traits of highly resilient people to give to you. I want to see you thrive, and I don't want you to leave this moment with any of that negativity hanging around. And that's one of the good things about a new moon, It's a time for us to release what is no longer serving us, go dig deep within to find out what do we really want, what are we hiding, or what have we been burying, and get that stuff out. Have a fresh, clean slate to end this year, and then you can start creating your vision for next year. So that's what I wanted to say. So Shimoni says, definitely time to challenge the demons. I feel you. What's up, Beatrice? It's time to govern and have dominion. That's right. And Trevor, stank talkers be gone. They're going to come around. That's human nature. It's sad, but it is human nature. We have that capacity. That's why I kind of bring it out like we as humans have the capacity to be stank. We're not all stank, but we all have that capacity. Even the nicest of us. Okay, I know. Y'all will probably say, maybe not the Dalai Lama, maybe not, But the reality is, as a human being, we have these capacities, the capacity for light and for darkness. But as soon as you decide to be the conscious director of your life as the sovereign spirit, not as the ego, then boom, we make choices. And we can forgive people when they're in that low state and they talk stuff. I just, brush them off and keep on keeping on. That's what I'm talking about. So, yes, Maureen says you need to make some evictions. Shimoni says kick them to the curb. Yeah, baby. So, what else have you guys got going on this week? Yes, Katrina, I might have kicked your pants. I don't know. I don't know if you needed a kick in the pants. And Trevor says compassion for oneself is important. Yeah, man, we just have compassion for us as humans. I had to do that this weekend. I was like, Lord, judging. I was like, no, we've got to stop the madness. Because why? Why should we? Why should we allow ourselves to get sucked in by something that isn't real? It's imaginary. At our core, we are completely lovable, whole, and perfect, and divine. And so give the human shell that's holding your divinity, give it a break. It doesn't have to be perfect. And if you do need to rest, take that rest. My peeps will tell you, Friday, I was like, oh, I should get some stuff done. I was out. I was like, okay, that's not happening. I'm not doing any extra work. So there you go. Margareta says, the better we do, the more haters come to challenge us in our being. It could be. It could be. It could definitely be that more haters are going to come your way the more you start to get up and up and up. And, I'm doing another interview this week with Karina Virginia, with whom I'm teaching the Sensual Vitality Inner Bliss retreat in California in February. And one of the things that we've been talking about lately is how much Mother Earth and all societies around the world are rumbling and grumbling And even with this whole, hashtag Me Too and all of the sexual harassment cases that are coming forward, there is a collective, both on the planet and the people living on the planet, and probably the animals as well, there is a collective rejection of junk. Like, I literally feel that the level of negativity seems to be rising. One, because we're all connected with the internet and we can get negativity everywhere. Two, because the media thrives on broadcasting negativity because it makes people keep tuning in, which means they deliver better viewership to their advertisers and make money. But three, we're also seeing so much more negativity because of power struggles and such. But what most people have expressed, most of my spiritual peeps have expressed, is it is the natural kind of explosion of negativity before that stuff gets cleaned out. It's like, this is it on my face, right? That was just awful, sorry. But you know what I'm saying? There's like this collective rumbling that we're not going to take it. It is our time to rise. We're not going to stay silent anymore about the abuses, about the scandals, about the negativity, about the racism, sexism. I mean, we're not going to tolerate it anymore. The earth isn't tolerating it. We humans aren't tolerating it. Just watch if these animals rise up. So I feel like, yes, you're going to see more negativity, and especially as you're shining your light, there may be some people who want to cling to that previous system of negativity and power and control. But they won't last. This coming age, this golden age, means that if we can stay in our spirit, the spirit of joy and purity and love, when all this little rumbling and grumbling is gone, we'll be standing strong. And that's when you're going to have to take on faith. But dig deep and really remember who you are. Who you are at your core is pure and love and light. And yes, compassion for self, compassion for others, and forgiveness. I know that's not popular. Ooh, I saw so many people. I had some haters on me for wishing some terrorists compassion. I'm not forgiving them for their deeds. I am wishing them compassion because I know that for anyone to do some of the unspeakable things going on in this earth, and that includes all of the sexual misconduct going on with these people in power, they're sick. They are not tuned in to who they really are. Because as a spiritual being, you would never do that to another being. You would never deliberately hurt, kill, rape, pillage, destroy, demean, belittle, or bully if you were coming from your spirit. And so it is a sickness. It's a kind of sickness to be off your center. And I have compassion for them because karma is real. That's not going to come back around. I don't even have to wish it on them. It's just the nature of the universe. They're going to have to clean that up. There's going to be an energetic reckoning of their actions and behaviors. And so I grieve for the people that they've hurt. And I grieve for them as well because we're all in this together. So anyway, maybe y'all. Yeah. So Kenneth, hey, you saw me at Elevate. Thank you. Glad to see you here. Haven't seen you in my little Facebook Live universe. Glad that you were over here. Yes, Margareta, it spirals. All of this stuff spirals, in the words of Justin Timberlake. It's going to keep coming back around. Anyway, I'm not going to venture off into my pop and hip-hop today. I just wanted to connect with y'all. So anyway, this has been fun. I wish I could have invited on our special guest. I had a little special guest planned for today, and the technology is not letting a sister win. Wah. Not happy about that. But such is life. I got to connect with you, fabulous souls, and that's wonderful. But the special guest, as I mentioned before, is Angela Holton, and she is hosting the Radical Self-Love Summit. And I don't know if my friend Sarah Kate is still around. If you could please share the link so that people can check that out. I am loving the people who are on that summit because it does take sometimes radical self-love, to love yourself when you've been so conditioned by everything in the media or in society or in your family. If you were conditioned to hate yourself, if you've ever grown up with that feeling that you're not good enough, that you're not whatever enough, good enough, pretty enough, smart enough, normal enough, not fitting in the box enough, if you've dealt with that for a long time, it does feel pretty radical to learn to love yourself. But what else? What's the alternative? To continue in self-hatred? For me, I couldn't. That was my, anyway, I'm not going to go there. You know what it was like. So anyway, I pray that you all will connect with the Radical Self-Love Summit, support Angela and what she's doing, because she's got some powerhouses, including my friend, Karina Virginia, who I'll be on with, and Paul Luftenegger, the fabulous award-winning singer who I was just hanging out with in New York at Peace Village, and just some other real serious powerhouses. So I tap into that, tap into this concept of like radically loving yourself. And if you've ever been around someone, you know, either newlyweds or people when they just fall in love and they're all bubbly and they're all giddy and everything is just funny and they just, you know that feeling? Do you remember that maybe when you first fell in love? And I know Margaretta's going to say, I still have that feeling. If you can tap into that feeling and you remember how even the things that would normally get on your nerves, you're like, you don't even think about it because you're so full of love. Imagine if you filled up on love for yourself. Not this egoic thing, but this really knowing and loving yourself as a spiritual being. If you were so full of that love and that bubbly, giddy, juicy deliciousness, and then you interact with the world, honey, don't you know the world's problems would be solved like that? So work that. Thank you for the Self-Love Summit. Link there, radicalselflovesummit.com. Definitely tap into that. It's going to be so good. So thank you, Shimoni, for the warm wishes. I will see some of you on Wednesday, won't I? We have our final Personal Branding Bootcamp Q&A, the final one for December, that is, and then we kick it off on a monthly basis. If you are struggling to figure out how to describe what you do, and what I want to talk about Wednesday is the value of what you do. Because Shimoni and a couple of other people have been talking about in the Facebook group, like, why do people buy from you or not? I want to focus on the or not and share a little bit of insight of what I learned about why people don't buy from me. Because, you know, I'm a nerd. I'm going to go survey and investigate. And I'll tell you what, it comes down to communicating value. But that's another discussion for another time. I wish you a fabulous week. Like, make this a fabulous first week of December. Despite Mercury being in retrograde, make it juicy and delicious by going within and connecting to who you really are. Because you, from a spiritual level, you can overcome and supersede all of the laws of the earth when you tap into the laws of the universe. So I'm going to let that one sink in for a while. Have a fabulous week. I will see you sometime this week. I don't make any promises anymore because my life is a little crazy with this book launch. Normally I would be here Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I have no idea what I'm going to be. But just know that I'm sending you tons of love. Hey, Annika, good to see you. And, you know, you guys are fabulous. Believe in your fabulousness, because I believe in your fabulousness. I do. It is true. So have a wonderful week, and I'll see you again.